You know that weird place you're in when you fought so hard to get to where you are now, but you're still not where you know you're meant to be? You've already climbed out of the hardest parts, like those days where getting out of bed just felt really impossible. You've healed so much, outgrown so much, let go of so much, and you don't even recognize your old self anymore in the best way possible. But to be really honest with yourself, you're tired of waiting for your breakthrough. Tired of doing all the right things and still feel like you're stuck and not getting anywhere. And you're starting to get so sick and tired that people are succeeding faster than you, moving through life a lot faster than you, and all you can really feel is just feeling entirely left behind. You went from being at your rock bottom moment to waiting on this dream reality that you've always wanted for yourself. And you feel like you're kind of in this awkward period where you're nowhere and you feel completely lost. Some days it is so easy to doubt yourself, and you might even be wondering, is any of this even worth it? If this is where you're at right now, you are not alone. Hi, I'm Jasmine, and in this channel, we talk all about being the woman of your dreams and building the life that you love. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how this awkward in-between phase that you're going through, where you're not here or there, that this phase is one of the most potent phases for transformation. And I'm going to be showing you 3 mindset shifts to really help you elevate and push past this really awkward phase and actually achieve all of your dreams and goals. And even if you're feeling really stuck and frustrated right now, these 3 mindset shifts will help you elevate your vibration, that you'll feel more happy, more motivated in this season of your life. And when you live off of that high vibrational energy, you end up attracting the exact success that you've been looking for. And when you watch the end of this video, you will have all the tools and mindset shifts so that you can start creating more momentum in your life and feel incredibly inspired to keep going. I've also included chapters for this video, so feel free to skip around. You can also find the timestamps in the description below. And if you're someone who's ready to do the real work, not only just transform through these videos, but actually apply everything that I'm teaching in these videos, you are gonna love my free worksheets. I make worksheets for every single video that I make, and in these worksheets, I provide journaling prompts, in-depth journaling prompts, and as well as practical exercises to help you shift and release your limiting beliefs, but also help you write an action plan so you can start taking action and building the life of your dreams. The link to access is down in the description below. So let's get started. The first mindset shift is to start seeing this phase that you're in right now as your warrior goddess training ground. You may not even realize it, but you're currently living in the most powerful part of your story. This is the part where no one really talks about. This part is often quiet, it's raw, it's invisible to the world outside of you. But right here, this is where everything shifts. You need to have a character. There's just something really powerful about resonating with a cartoon character. I don't know why, but this resonates so deeply with me. So when you're going through this warrior goddess training era, I want you to find a character that really resonates with you. So these are female characters. So female anime warrior fighters, female superheroes, female street fighter characters, or whatever video game character that you really loved. There is something so incredibly extraordinary when you see an anime character or when you see a video game character where she's wearing this beautiful outfit, there's fire in her eyes, she's jacked, she's ready to fight, and there's just so much admiration. And I feel like a lot of people, when they play these video games, they tend to choose that character where this girl is so beautiful, so alive, so badass. But the reason why we admire characters like this is because she's tough, that she has trained her whole life for this moment to fight other people on the street. And I think that when we use cartoons specifically around helping us build our own personal avatar of what our warrior goddess training era looks like, it feels so much more like a game. And life really is a game. And when we can gamify life and we can gamify our goals, we feel more excited to play because it's all a game. So the next time you are working towards your goals, the next time you work out, the next time you're working towards your business, the next time that you're journaling and working on releasing your limiting beliefs, really access the mindset of that warrior goddess avatar. What is she like? What is she thinking about? How much self-belief does she have? How tough is she on a day-to-day basis? And when you can tap into her energy, when you can tap into her fire, you become completely unstoppable. So if nothing is moving fast enough, if you feel completely stuck, just remember, this is your training ground. That's it. You are currently refining your character, giving your character soul, giving her tone, creating the version of you that can hold the dream. Think of your current phase as if it is your own personal monologue. So think about Legally Blonde. When she was applying to Harvard, when she was studying for her LSATs, you're so engaged and you feel very emotionally connected to the character because you want her to win. You want her to actually make it to Harvard. And when you see her working so hard behind the scenes, you're like, yeah, you're cheering her on. And live every day as if there is a camera following you around. And if you had your own personal movie, in this personal monologue, what would you be doing? And are you proud of the things that you're doing? Are you proud of the daily actions that you're taking towards building your life? And oftentimes, if you imagine that there's a camera following you around and filming your daily actions, it's actually very inspiring because obviously in your own movie, you would want a positive ending that the character, aka you, actually achieved her dreams and she was able to live out this crazy life for herself. So what does that scene look like to you? So right now, you're in your own monologue. You're not at rock bottom, but you're not exactly where you want to be, and that's totally okay. You're in this middle space, you're journaling, you're working out, you're creating your website, building your business, whatever it is, all of these small actions are adding up to this evolution of the woman that you are meant to be. So I want you to imagine this. What if the cameras were on you now? What if every time you pushed through that discomfort, every time that you made a positive decision that went towards your future, every time you chose growth over distraction, all of that was captured in a scene in a movie? Would you keep laying in bed scrolling? Or would you get up, take a breath, and remember your vision? And while yes, rest is still so important and you should always take time to care for yourself and your mental health, but if rest becomes your hiding place, if you're hiding away from your goals and dreams, then are you actually being proactive in creating the life that you want? Is this the story that you want your life to look like? Because even in the silence, even with the invisible actions that you seem to be taking, even when the results aren't speaking, every small action that you take is actually getting you closer to your goal. And this phase matters so much to your growth. Not because it's glamorous or that it's necessarily fun, but it is the foundation of where your power is being built. So every day, just keep showing up, even if you're not being perfect. You are currently in your training ground right now. You're building this emotional and spiritual strength that when the success does come in, you are capable of holding and maintaining this level of success and elevating it to the next level. This is where resilience is born, where you start to believe in yourself more and more every day, and where you are becoming more disciplined by the day. And it's not because anyone is watching necessarily, but it's you. You're the one watching because you're doing all of this for yourself. And you don't just want this for a single moment, but you want this to last a lifetime for you. Trust me, when you're on the other side and you're standing in everything that you've built, you will look back in this phase with so much more gratitude and just this deep reverence because you fought tooth and nail to get to where you want to be. The second mindset shift is to set strong systems that produce consistent action. You know, I've been thinking a lot about Sabrina Carpenter lately, and let me tell you why. Not only the fact that she is everywhere, but that her rise to fame actually represents something much deeper. A lot of people think that it was her one song or that one album that really took off and that changed her life. And while it may have seemed like an overnight success, Sabrina Carpenter has been building her legacy, her brand for 16 years. And it all started with her very first cover on YouTube when she was just 10 years old. And then later on, she landed a role, Girl Meets World, and even then, people did not take her seriously. It took year after year, song after song, album after album to get to where she is today. And now, She's getting Grammys, she's topping charts, she's performing at global stages. But none of this was magic. Her success came from systems, consistency, and this constant self-belief, and just kept showing up, just kept taking action regardless of the fame, regardless of whether she was getting recognition, regardless if she was being taken seriously. So let's talk about you. Because if you're building something that you care about, whether it's building a creative career or building your own business, or even just getting into the best shape of your life, it rarely takes that one perfect leap. And in fact, it's an accumulation of many small steps that we take in the process that actually get us to where we want to be. It's about doing the right thing over and over and over again, that this momentum just keeps compounding over time. So this is where systems come in. You can't just live in your head. You can't just wait for clarity to kick in, or to feel like things need to be perfect, or to feel that you need to have the motivation first before taking action. You have to build routines and systems that actually support your growth. You have to act even when it's awkward, and it's those moments that count the most. I am so guilty of this because I love people like Dr. Joe Dispenza, where he talks about manifesting a life of ease through meditation. And even just watching too many manifestation videos can get me so caught up in this world where I just need to write, script, and think about it hard enough, and then it will magically come. And while that does happen, and there can be a lot of room for miracles to come into our lives, there are a lot of things that, for example, a business that requires action on our part to create. And it's the visualization that helps us generate ideas, helps us find the best way to execute, but ultimately it takes a lot of trial and error. And as much as we want to wait for that perfect moment or that perfect idea to come in, those do not happen all at once. It may be that business idea that helps us learn a certain lesson that produces another idea, that essentially the order of how these events flow through to get to our ultimate desire is not up to us. Life is taking us through a very unique journey that only the universe and your higher self will understand. So action is so incredibly important. So ask yourself, what did I tangibly create this week? And whenever I ask myself that question, the answer is never what I want to be. And I want to share the 12-week year. I talk about this book so much, but I truly believe that the 12-week year has transformed me from being someone who's a chronic overthinker, never took action, and just kind of waited for life to happen. And when I read the 12-week year and when I actually implemented the system, I was suddenly posting YouTube videos consistently, working out consistently, and I have never been so consistent in my life. And one of the things that I really learned was that you need to set goals that are closer to you and that you can actually picture yourself achieving. You set yourself up immediately for failure when you set goals that are too big and that are too far. That means that your 1-year goals that you set in January, those are actually too far in advance. We can't visualize our grand becoming when we are thinking 12 months down the line. So if you are interested in transforming your own life and actually creating a consistent schedule and creating a system, I would highly recommend reading the 12-week year. And I actually made a video, which is an ultimate guide where you can start elevating your life and achieving more in 12 weeks than most people do in an entire year. You don't need to have a perfect plan moving into your goals, but your plan and the way that you execute will change over time. And that's just the natural process of life. The more that we take action, the more that we learn from our mistakes and we start re-strategizing our actions, and we end up being more productive over time because we've learned from doing. You do not need the perfect plan before executing. And in fact, a lot of successful people, their initial plan that they use when they first started their business are probably completely different from building a multi-billion-dollar business, for example, that they've used different skills, different systems in execution. So it's really reassuring to think that when we create our plan in building the life of our dreams and our execution plan, we don't need to have it all figured out, because actions end up creating clarity. And when we are clear, we end up re-strategizing our actions so they're more productive. But we wouldn't know unless we started taking action. And for me, building a YouTube channel is something that's really important to me. So in order to create a YouTube channel with my busy schedule, I still find time and I find a way to make it sustainable. And with that very strict schedule, I end up declining invites, hangouts, events because I know that my schedule is more important than attending to those events. I schedule my time and treat it like a real commitment, like it's a job, because it is. And you need to start taking the schedule that you create for yourself incredibly seriously. I don't want to be that random person who posts once a month and wonder why I'm not getting the followers, I'm not getting the subscribers, I'm not getting the views. And it's that every time I film, every time I post, every time I create, I am learning something new about my own video style, as well as learning what my audience wants as well. I learn something new in the process. I reiterate and I put it out into the world. I reiterate again and I put it again out in the world. And that makes me a better content creator. It enables me to really listen to what my audience wants. So for me, I post twice a week, and I know that's a bit of a stretch, but it's not necessarily convenient to me, but I realized how much passion I have for content creation, how much I love making YouTube videos and sharing my thoughts to the world. And to me, that feels so worth it. So just like Sabrina didn't become an overnight celebrity and it took her 16 years, I don't expect my channel to blow up all at once with just one video that I post. But what I do believe is the power of the compounding effect and momentum that you gain over time, over doing, and over every single action that you take, no matter how scary it may be. When I first started my channel, which was literally just 2 months ago, I had 47 subscribers at the time, and I was like, well, for my 12-week cycle, I'm gonna set 100 subscribers because that to me already felt like a lot. I'm at 560, I think, and it's just been month 2, almost month 3. And I am just mind blown, and I'm starting to see the power of systems and why nobody is talking about this. Nobody really talks about creating the best systems, but people are always just fixated on producing goals and being really fixated on your goals. And the whole point of this is that these systems allowed me to create momentum. And that's the magic of building systems. You do not need motivation every day. You just need structure, sustainable structure. And when you have a process that helps you eliminate a lot of that existing friction, you're able to achieve your goals a lot faster. I want you to think about your big picture vision and break them down into 3 key goals. And then I want you to create a unique system for each of those goals. How can you time block those goals into your life that it can become a ritual, a routine every single week that you don't have to think twice about? You just know that on Tuesdays is when you film, or Fridays is when you work on your website, or Saturdays are when you go out and meet clients, whatever it is. What is important to you? Because the truth is that when you are so fixated on these big, massive goals, those goals become so much harder to achieve because they're so overwhelming. Start breaking your goals down, make them manageable, and start creating systems around that goal so you have less resistance towards working those goals. So the final mindset shift is to start mastering acceptance and perseverance. Now, this in-between phase that you're going through right now is not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. But this is why this phase is such a pivotal training ground for you to be this woman that you've always wanted to be. And that people truly admire others that have been able to surpass their own limitations. And when we have a really empowering story, we can use that story to empower and help others on their journey as well. But one of the hardest parts about this phase is letting go of attachment to the goal. It's so tempting to think that the more that we hold these goals tighter, the more needy we are with our goals, the more that we want our goals, the more likely it will come to us. But that's completely false. When the universe senses needy, desperate energy, it's coming from a place of lack. And when you feel lack in your life, when you feel like you're missing something in your life, the universe ends up creating and giving you more scenarios in your life where you feel constantly at lack. But the more that we resist the present moment, the more we feel at lack with our present moment, the more we feel like we desperately need change and we can't accept our present moment because it's not good enough for us, the harder it is to move towards the life that we want. The more that we want something to happen and the more needy we are, how likely are we truly going to be able to get there? So let me pull an example for you. Say that you really like a guy. You've had a huge crush on this guy since 8th grade, and now you are essentially wanting to pursue him. You call him every day, you text him every day, you just can't live without him, and you tell him every day how much you can't live without him, and you stalk him at the club whenever he's out with his mom or his friends. He's always out. You're always literally 5 meters away from him, stalking him. And he senses that, of course. When he senses you being in this desperate energy state, how likely is he going to want to be with you? Very unlikely, actually. And that when you are in this very desperate state, you end up repelling that person. You push that person away. So we need to take this lesson and start applying it into our own lives. What if accepting ourselves is the key to success? What if accepting our life right now as it is, to accept the present moment as perfect? What if we end up learning how to add zest into our lives right now, and that is the way to get to where we want to be? Some people say that you need to hate your circumstances enough for your life to change, but I don't believe that at all. And in fact, I've tried that personally, and all it did was made my life a personal hell. It's not hatred that creates change. It's the love for the process that actually brings you forward. It's the systems you've built, the lives you've impacted, the joy you feel creating that actually moves the needle forward. We so often believe that once we reach the goal, once we have that thing, I can finally feel happy. A lot of successful people have shared, whether it was that weight loss or that business, that the goal did not take away the depression, did not take away the anxiety, but you realize that happiness can only be fulfilled and created and experienced in the present moment. The goal alone does not magically change our internal state. And this is where I want to introduce a new concept called your inner citadel. So what is an inner citadel? It's your inner fortress. Not so much a physical one, but it's a very metaphysical structure. It is all built in the mind, and it's the part of you where no external adversity can break. And the truth is, this inner citadel, this fortress, is not something that you're born with, but it's through adversity, through trial and error, through your rock bottoms that you've probably experienced. It's that every experience that has kept you down, it's the many times that you get back up and you keep going, that builds your resilience, that builds your inner citadel. So think of it like this, like how athletes train throughout the season so they can start competing in the Olympics, we need to start training our minds for resilience. You are a mental athlete, so whatever challenges you're going through right now, it's all an opportunity and training for you to grow stronger. So if you're watching this, I know that you've been through so much already. You survived things that once felt impossible for you. You are so much stronger than you think you are. You are so much stronger than what you give yourself credit for. Real growth happens when you face your resistance, when you face your negative beliefs, when you move through your triggers. Because the steel in your backbone, what actually emits true power, is not the successes that you've been through, but it's through all of the challenges that you've overcame in your life. And speaking of ease, I want to talk about manifestation because I love manifestation, super passionate about it. And there is a common misconception that letting go means that you should just give up on your dreams. That's not what it means. Letting go means releasing your attachment to the when and how. It's when you fully release control of the timeline as well as how it's going to show up in your life. The universe does not like to be controlled. And how you know you're attached is if you constantly check your bank account, if you constantly check your DMs, if you constantly check your weight. And it's that when you're so attached to the results, you do not allow miracles to flow through. And what if there could be a possibility where there can be more ease in the creation process? Are you giving space to the universe to explore different potentials where you can welcome your results with ease? Or are you just gripping your goal so tightly and you won't let go? Why don't you allow yourself to kind of take a step back? That you can still work towards your goals, but you free yourself from the mental baggage, the emotional attachment to the goal. And what if you start convincing yourself that whether I get the goal or not, whether I achieve it tomorrow, the next month, or even the next 5 years, what if I never get to my goal in 5 years? And it's that acceptance, accepting that it may not come at all, and still feeling joy in the process. When you vibrate from that state where whether you get it or not, you're still happy, you access this vibrational frequency where you become a very attractive force to all of the amazing things that can happen to you. Quite strange the way the universe works, but that is just how the universe works. The universe reacts to your vibration. And when you have a high vibration, things naturally become so much easier in your life. The tighter we cling, the more we resist life. And when we try to control every single outcome, we choke off miracles that would have flown freely to us. Letting go is about releasing the emotional baggage and redirecting that energy towards the action, towards what matters most, into your systems, into your habits, your routines, not obsessing over external outcomes that you can't control. When you accept the present moment as it is, you enter the only place where real creation can happen, which is in the now. When your mind is stuck on a different timeline, either being completely depressed about the past or being super anxious about the future, when your mind is on different timelines, you lose magic and momentum that's only available in the now, in the present moment. So start cultivating perseverance, start focusing your attention and play the long game. And life isn't just about one single obstacle, but it's about learning how to meet all of the obstacles with grace. So we have reached the end of this video. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I had so much fun making this. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what your current obstacle is and what your plan of action is to help you move yourself forward. And if you want more content about being the woman of your dreams and building a life that you love, be sure to subscribe to the channel and join the family. And lastly, if you are interested in integrating everything that you're learning, I would highly recommend checking out my free journaling worksheets. Some of these worksheets are as long as 17 pages, so there's a lot of depth in every single question that I have in these worksheets, and I know they're going to help you so much. I am so grateful for you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!